Hey Mystery Crew, it's Mystery Girl with Missy and Mystery Sister Sally. Welcome back, guys. If you're new here, welcome here for the first time. We want to say thank you to everyone for all of your continued support and for always hitting that like button. We also want to say, if you haven't subscribed yet, slam that subscribe button now. Guys, we have up our content warning because some of the material here in our videos may be traumatizing to some, and we also have up our copyright disclaimer for the videos and the pictures that we use throughout our series or an individual video. So we're going to move forward with our video, but take a look at what's to come. Hey Mystery Crew, it's Missy. We're going to discuss Gypsy Rose Blanchard. So this discussion in this video is based on opinion and all of the information is alleged. We do not have first-hand information, nor do we claim to. The information in this video is based on research to the best of our ability. I just want to make that very clear. I'm sorry about the echo. We recently moved into the house. My husband is doing a lot of renovations, so the rooms aren't full yet. But I wanted to cover Gypsy Rose a while ago when she was released from prison, but then her face was everywhere. And honestly, I was so sick and tired of hearing her name and seeing her. So many people, content creators were covering her. It was just getting so annoying. So we decided not to do it at the time. But things have gotten so out of control and we have our opinion. So we're going to put it out there. For those of you who are not familiar with Gypsy Rose Blanchard, she recently got out of prison after serving 8 years in prison of a 10-year sentence for murdering her mother, being the mastermind behind the murder, and supposedly Nick Godejohn, who was her boyfriend at the time, who has autism, mental illness, and a low IQ, was the one that carried it out. He has claimed that he only stabbed Dee Dee 4 times, but Dee Dee was stabbed 17 times. Now his story has never changed. So the family of Dee Dee actually believes that Gypsy Rose is the one that stabbed her the other 13 times. And to be honest, I actually felt bad for her. I felt bad for Gypsy when all of this originally happened. But since she's been let out of prison and you're kind of getting to see how she manipulates and lies all the time, it kind of makes me personally question her. I honestly don't believe a word that comes out of her mouth. And it makes me question, is the Blanchard family right? But we're going to get into some things on her current details. Recently, she has announced that she's pregnant. A lot of people don't even believe she is because she has claimed that she's had miscarriages before. But she says she's pregnant with Ken's baby, who is her current boyfriend. And she apparently last week, according to another content creator, Flawless Nina, I believe her name is, I want to make sure I'm giving credit, has said allegedly she wants to be engaged by this week. And when I was looking for the pictures for the slideshow here, this picture had come up, which I believe Flawless Nina has shown previously. So this is an older picture, which, you know, it says wifey. So she's been kind of putting it out there that she wants to be married to Ken. And it's no secret, she's always loved Ken. I believe she used Ryan Anderson just for a place to go and have somewhere when she got out of prison so she didn't have to go home to her parents. But I found this article when looking for the photos, and it says, is Gypsy Rose Blanchard engaged? New ring photo leaves fans shocked. Well, she's also put out a photo previously of her belly when she was married, and she still is married to Ryan, making fans believe she was pregnant. Meanwhile, they got a puppy. So the article says Gypsy Rose Blanchard shared a photo on her Facebook page in early hours of Tuesday, August 6th, leaving fans completely shocked. The bling on her left ring finger seemingly confirms that she and Ken are now engaged. Plus, she captioned the snap with a ring emoji and a manicure emoji. So it's kind of her way of saying that she's engaged. But again, how true is it? Then there was a picture of her hand with a ring on it. So is it true? I don't know. I honestly don't know if there's been any updates. I haven't seen anything, but there might be some more updates as of right now. But I'm going to get into my opinion on Gypsy. Sally and I have been talking, and we've actually decided, yes, we're going to cover this. We might actually do even, lives on it. Me and her have the same opinion. And my sister Jody actually still feels bad for the girl. She thinks that she really suffered a lot with her mother. And I'm starting to wonder if there actually was any Munchausen by proxy, which Dee Dee was never officially diagnosed as having. And now that she's deceased, nobody can actually say it. So, is it true? Who knows? Honestly, who knows? But again, these pictures are in no specific order. I just wanted something there for you guys to look at. If you hear papers rumbling, that's me going through my notes. I just want to make sure that whatever research I, was able to get, that I'm putting out the right information. But anyway, Gypsy has become very jealous since she's back with Ken. And I truly believe if you watched Life After Lockup, what Christy did was absolutely horrible. Christy got in Gypsy's head, in my opinion, pushing Ken back into her life. This picture here is Rod and Gypsy when she was a little girl. Anyway, Chrissy is always in the background, and she's been in the background since even before Gypsy got out of jail. Now, when Gypsy was a kid growing up, Chrissy and Rod were not in her life. When she was younger, yes, but apparently Dee Dee had moved further away, and when they started moving further away is when Rod stopped having actual visitations with her. There's different views on it. Some people say it's because, Dee Dee put bad thoughts of Rod in Gypsy's head. Others say that he just never even acknowledged that he had a daughter, that his friends didn't even know that he had another daughter until the day that it was supposed that Gypsy was missing, the day that she had her mother murdered. So there's a lot of different stories as far as the background. Now, there are two different types of Munchausen syndrome. There is Munchausen syndrome, where an individual will claim illnesses to try to draw attention to themselves and feel loved and needed and feel support from others. And then there's Munchausen by proxy, where a caregiver will put illnesses on whoever they're taking care of, whether it be a child, a parent, or whatever, to get attention for themselves. And the attention for themselves in this case was money, wish foundations, Habitat for Humanity built their house, the pink house. So there was a lot of fraud going on. And now that Gypsy is out of jail and you can actually hear her talk about different things, I think Gypsy is still there. She was taught to be a liar. She was taught to steal. She was taught to fraud, her whole life. So yes, I do think Gypsy was taught wrong by her mother, Dee Dee. But as far as all the surgeries that Gypsy claims and, how her mother manipulated doctors and all the surgeries, I honestly don't believe it anymore. I did feel bad for her, but I just don't feel bad for her anymore. So Gypsy is becoming very jealous with Ken, and she wanted this engagement because she, I guess, felt that that would show security in their relationship. According to other creators, they're fighting all the time. They're constantly fighting. And apparently she's also constantly fighting with Chrissy, who is, again, like I said earlier, she's always in the background and was even before Gypsy got out of prison. Now, Chrissy, I believe, and this is my opinion, is all about the money. Chrissy wants the attention. I think she loves being on TV. I think she, puts on this front that her and Gypsy are like the closest things in the world, which I felt was horrible for her real, daughter, her birth daughter, who is Gypsy's half-sister, Mia, who I think has had more than enough of Gypsy. I find Chrissy, in my opinion, again, this is my opinion, I find Chrissy to be just as bad as Dee Dee, because Chrissy pushes things in different directions for Gypsy, and they're trying to create this whole new thing, and it's falling apart right before their eyes. So Gypsy is really, in my opinion, has changed. So this is a picture that was put out of supposedly Gypsy getting treatments. Now, this is not a medical surgery or, anything like that. This is a nebulizer. And a nebulizer you could put in that little cup in the bottom where the arrow just was. You could put like albuterol in there, and it opens up the airways. When I worked at the house with the children, they would get them 2-3 times a day, and it just, it opens, the mask goes over the nose and the mouth, because like for our kids anyway at the house, some were mouth breathers, some were nose breathers. By going over the whole nose and mouth area, it was getting in at one point or another. So that's what that is for. It's not like a surgical procedure. But one of the things that really, really turned me, I think, about Gypsy is she kept saying that, she got treatment in prison and she looks at things differently now. But then during an interview, she said that she does not identify as a murderer. She said, "I didn't commit the act, so I am not a murderer. I could never do that. I don't have that in me to be able to do that." So she came up with the plan of the murder. She's the one that wants it out of the house. She stole the knife, which the Blanchard family says 2 knives was stolen. She sent Nick the money. She paid for the hotel. And she made sure that the gloves and the knife and supplies were outside for Nick when he got to the house that day, and opened the door for him. Now, she says that she hid in the bathroom. She also says that Nick locked her in the bathroom, which, guys, we all know bathroom lock is inside the bathroom, not outside. So how'd he lock her in the bathroom? So, now that my head is clear and I'm not like, oh my God, this poor girl, I feel so bad for her. Things that she said in a lot of her interviews where her stories changed before, when she was arrested, I'm starting to look at differently. I'm like, wait a minute. You're locked in the bathroom. The keyhole is right there. You could just turn it. So, but like I said, my opinion is changing of her. And I think Chrissy is her new sidekick, like her new partner in crime is what I want to say. And the two of them together, I think, are very dangerous. Now, with the Munchausen by proxy, like I said, Dee Dee was never officially diagnosed with it. And I honestly think that it wasn't so much that. I think Gypsy has Munchausen syndrome, where she wants the sympathy for herself. So that is my opinion on the whole thing, to be honest. And I think that's why Gypsy claims, that she had miscarriages, which apparently I forgot who I was watching. I was watching a YouTube video the other day, and they were saying how Christy and Gypsy, sorry, how'd I forget her name? They got into an argument, the cops were called, and Gypsy was saying that she was having miscarriage pains. So now I'm like, wait a minute. All these people that are saying that Gypsy's not pregnant and that she's probably going to turn around and say she had a miscarriage or something, could they be right? Because now she's claiming miscarriage pains. And even if you watch like her TikTok, she's always Googling different things to see what she's feeling. She was feeling something the other night, and she got up and she Googled it, and she's not supposed to be feeling it until the next month of pregnancy. So I'm starting to wonder if Gypsy herself has Munchausen. Now, I think Dee Dee liked the attention, and I think she was a scam artist. I think she committed fraud, but I don't know so much about this Munchausen by proxy, because in 2011, it was confirmed that Gypsy had a diagnosis of microdeletion, which a lot of the things that Gypsy's mom, Dee Dee, was saying, actually, if you look at the side effects of it, a lot of what Dee Dee was saying are the side effects of that microdeletion. So, yes, was she maybe making it bigger than it was? I think so. But was it as bad as Gypsy said? I don't know. And, my other thing is, I'm sorry if I'm all over the place. It's like my head is everywhere, and I don't want to make this like a 2-hour video. When Gypsy met Nick Godejohn, she instantly went, not instantly, but she went to the bathroom and they had sex. If Gypsy was so secluded and kept so tight in the house and under Dee Dee's control, how did Gypsy even know how to have sex? I'm just saying. And, she apparently was into BDSM. I mean, for somebody who was so tight gripped by their mom, this girl, when it comes to sexual activity, she knew more than probably half the adults out in the world know. So, I kind of question that. And, I'm just saying it. I'm just saying. The other thing is that, Gypsy has been so used to being given things or stealing things, which, without a crystal ball, which I don't take what she says as word, but being that she was friends with the family from 2019, with Christy, I should say, I think some of what she is putting out there now that they have no longer friends, I think some of what she's saying does have merit to it. But I did look it up, and Gypsy, she mentioned that Gypsy would steal when she was younger in the wheelchair, and she would use the princess gown to hide stuff under, and that she, knew she could get away with it because who's going to look at somebody in a wheelchair, a young girl in a princess gown, and think that they're stealing? So I think a lot of what Gypsy was used to as a child that she learned by Dee Dee, she is still doing today. And now with Christy behind her, with Christy in her ear all the time, and, she pushed Ken her way because, in my opinion, she didn't like Ryan because Ryan didn't like her. I think Ryan knew what Christy was about, and I think she caught on that he knew, and she wanted him out of the picture so he didn't get into Gypsy's ear, and that would be like the end of her payday. I feel like she really pushed Ken. I really do. And now that she's with Ken, okay, she's not even divorced. Divorce probably won't be final until January, when the baby comes. And now that article today showing that she had a ring on her finger. So she's not even divorced from one man, and she's engaged to another. And Gypsy, just so you know, just because a man put a ring on your finger doesn't mean that he's there forever. The same way you're divorcing Ryan, Ken could get up at any moment and divorce. And look at the last time you were engaged and he walked away. So you know what? When his payday walks away, because I think Ken is in this for the money only, as soon as his payday is gone, so if you go back to jail and Ken no longer has your money, you can plan on him being out of the picture. And my opinion on the baby, I don't know. I believe that it could be either way. She's either faking, so she'll get sympathy again when she says miscarriage. It could be Ryan's, or it could be Ken's. And if it's Ryan's, I think she's lying about it so she could trap Ken. And I think most of you feel the same way. I think a lot of what I'm saying, a lot of you probably feel the same way. I was watching something this morning, and the woman, I wish I could remember the show I was watching, she pointed out something that was pretty wild to me. Dee Blanchard was murdered on June 9th, was it? Yes, June 9th. And her mother, which was Gypsy's grandmother, was also murdered on June 9th. I just find that kind of weird. I find that really weird. Dee was only 48 years old when Gypsy came up with this master plan and the murder occurred. And I think her being paroled after 8 years is insane. I'm sorry. I mean, what is the difference of coming up with a plan for murder, or a murder for hire, or actually committing the crime? You know, this young man, Nick, is still behind bars, and he's doing life plus 25 years. And I think it's a total slap in the face that she got only 10 years, especially now seeing her and, you know, seeing the words that come out of her mouth. I think this girl definitely should have been in prison for longer. And she has already been warned by parole, her parole officer, I think it's like 8 times. I mean, how many times are they going to let her get away with things? This is Rod, her father, who apparently is no longer living in the house. Apparently he packed up and he left. I don't know if it's for good. But right now, apparently, it's only Chrissy and Gypsy in the house. Which, honestly, if I was Chrissy, I'd be sleeping with one eye, 2 eyes open. I'd take a nap when, Gypsy goes and visits Ken. I definitely would not go to sleep. I wouldn't eat anything or drink anything that girl gave me. I do not trust her. But, I just had to start this conversation of where we're coming from. Sally and I were once on the side of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, but since she's been released from prison and her mouth opened, you really get to know the girl, and you can tell that she is a liar. People say she's a master manipulator. Honestly, I believe that as well. I don't know if Sally does. I'm not going to speak for her, but I do believe that as well. As of 2023, as per Google, it says that Gypsy's net worth is $3 million, which she denies. I wouldn't expect her to admit it, but this girl is profiting off of the murder and death of her mother. And I think it's absolutely sickening. There is the son of Sam law, which apparently does not apply in Louisiana, but they do have their own law. So that is the notary for profit law, which basically says that if you commit a crime like this, you're not allowed to profit off of it. And if you do, the families of the victim can actually claim the money. And I actually wish that the family of Gypsy Rose Blanchard would stand up and do something like that. So Gypsy can see that she's not going to get away with everything. This girl has gotten away with everything, and now it's making me absolutely sick. So now that apparently she's pregnant, it's been said that CPS is already watching. They've already been in contact. It's been said that Christy is trying to get her to sign the baby over to her. This way, if something happens, say Gypsy screws up and she has to go back to prison, that the baby is already in Christy's custody. Which, why would she need to do that if Ken, who Christy loves so much, is the biological father? That's another thing that makes me wonder if Ryan might be the father. But there's just so much going on, and I feel like her parole officers are just letting her get away with way too much. I mean, she's been communicating with her prison friend. I just want to confirm the name, Amelia Bird, who was also charged in the murder of her mother. So her best friend in prison was another girl that murdered her mother. And apparently she's been using Ryan Anderson's phone. I guess like there was like a specific link that was for Ryan when he was communicating with Gypsy in prison. She's using Ryan's access to communicate with friends in prison. And I put up that phone call the other day of the conversation between Gypsy and Bree. Bree was trying to tell Gypsy how to lie about having communication with people in prison because Gypsy has already been warned because of her communication with people in prison that she can't do it. The next time she's going to be going back to jail. So Bree was telling her how to lie. I have that again at the end of this video in case you missed it on the first video, so you'll be able to hear the conversation again. But these are my opinions. You just look at Chrissy and you know she's bad news. These are my opinions, guys. I want to know yours. Do you, tell me in the comments, do you think Gypsy's really pregnant? I want to know that. I want to know, do you think that the Munchausen by proxy was actually occurring? Or do you think that Gypsy herself had Munchausen syndrome and still does, where she's constantly looking for the attention? Do you think it's right that even if she didn't make $3 million, I mean, I'm sure she's made something close to it. Do you think that it's right that she's able to keep that money just by hiding it in different people's names and getting away with it? I want to know your thoughts on this, because I want to know where Sally and I need to go deeper into research to get you guys accurate information. Now, a lot of this we're not going to be able to find out because we have no clue what the heck is going on in Gypsy's head. But a lot of it we might be able to actually, find out through research. I mean, even her half-sister is kind of like, I'm done. And I didn't know that Gypsy had a brother. Gypsy has a brother, his name is Dylan, and he said right from the get-go, he wants no part of being a part of any of this. Probably the smartest one in the family. And it seems like her father, Rod, even though he might not have been around in her life, I think he knows what she's about. And I think that's why he's just kind of like, I'm out of here. I don't know, he might be back. I don't even know if that story's true. But this is what's being said by other content creators. Like I said, I have been watching Without a Crystal Ball, who I followed a long time ago, and then I caught on to her and I unsubscribed. But now that she's spilling the dirt, like I said, I do think there is some merit to some of what Katie Joy is saying. I've been watching Flawless Nina. I really like her show. She puts out receipts of everything that she's saying. And when she doesn't know if it's fact, she will tell you. So, if you're looking for, updates that you can count on as far as Gypsy Rose is concerned, Flawless Nina, I've found to be a great channel. But like I said, ours is our opinion. Some of the information that I am putting out there has come from Flawless Nina, and some from Katie Joy, which I made sure that I researched, like that information about stealing. I researched it to make sure it was accurate, and it was in Gypsy's book. She actually admitted it. But for her to be making that kind of money, and her only bill is her health insurance, because I don't think she's under Ryan Anderson's health insurance anymore. What is she doing with all of that money? What is she doing with it? That is just insane. And I think Chrissy is just, excuse me, I'm going to say it, I think she's a money-hungry bitch. Bitch as far as like her attitude, her personality. And I think she's using Gypsy just for, like I said, the payday. Apparently there's like a $250,000 trust fund, which that is being said by Katie Joy, that is in the name of Christy and Rod. And, she could just walk away with that. She could just walk away with that money. And apparently, Gypsy paid her parents $20,000 as a payback for the money that they gave her when she was in jail. So if she wanted a candy bar or whatever, she could get it. But, it's just really, really insane. A lot of things are going on right now. And I am really keeping an eye on Gypsy to see what she's saying regarding this pregnancy. If she's, feeling sick, she's already said she's concerned that the baby might have that micro deletion, and she feels bad that she's bringing a baby into the world that might have this. So she's already saying things about maybe the baby being sick, as far as that goes, about the having the miscarriage pains, when supposedly there was an argument between her and Chrissy. But guys, I really want to know your thoughts. I want to know what you guys want to hear from me and from Sally, what you want us to get into as far as the research. I really want to know. And I also question, there was a man named David Blanchard. There's no relation as far as family. I think there's one letter spelled differently in the family. He's the man that climbed through the window. He said he was a friend. He wanted to check on the family, and says that he didn't find a body or anything in the house. I'm really curious. That is the money right there, the money that Gypsy stole from her mom when they left the house, her and Nicholas, to go back to Wisconsin to his house. That was the money right there. That was part of the evidence. So I just wanted to point that out. But that man, I don't think he did anything. But how did he not see Dee Dee? She was murdered on the 9th, and she wasn't found until the 14th. So she was in that house. There had to be some kind of odor there. I mean, they had to have left traces of blood somewhere. He had to notice that Gypsy's wheelchair was there. Apparently Gypsy couldn't walk, and all of a sudden, her wheelchair's there, but Gypsy's not. I mean, I think she was like 22, 23 when this happened. So I myself, I have a lot of questions that we've been really getting into. And, like I said, towards the end, before the murder happened, Dee Dee herself had many health issues, and apparently they say she was almost bedbound. She had the kidney stones, diabetes. That day, she had gone to a doctor appointment with Gypsy. When she came home, it was the afternoon, she went right to bed, and she was asleep when Nicholas showed up. So I still have many questions going backwards, going back to before the murder happened, because I'm seriously starting to question if Gypsy was actually treated as bad as she claims. And, I know that even if it's found that everything that Gypsy has claimed she went through is a lie, she can't be tried again. This is a picture of Dee Dee in the bed from the crime scene photos. It's a pretty graphic picture. I'm sorry for those of you that can't handle stuff like this, but I wanted to show the extreme of what they did to her mother. I'm sorry, I don't think anybody deserves that kind of treatment. And this here is Gypsy in the interrogation room after they were found in Wisconsin, where she pretended she knew nothing when the cop told her that her mother was gone. She went hysterical, making like she knew nothing, outright lied, where Nicholas, John, he basically started talking immediately. So I'm really starting to wonder if he's been telling the true story from the beginning, that he only stabbed her 4 times, and that the other 13 times were done by somebody else. And could that somebody else have been Gypsy? Could it have been done after he stabbed her the first 4 times? Or could it have been done even before she got there? But Nicholas says that, he only stabbed 4 times. And I'm really starting to wonder if everything that he said is true. In the beginning, I was believing everything that Gypsy said. I was like, my God, this poor girl, I feel so bad for her. But now there is so much coming out, and it's coming out of her own mouth. And it's coming out of her friends' mouths, making mistakes, leaving their cameras on live as they're having phone conversations. Christy is talking to people. They are telling people things, and then they're having fallouts, and all this information is coming out, and it is going to fully come out, the true story, at some point. And if Gypsy doesn't go back to jail for that conversation the other day, I really want to know what's going on with her parole officer. How much are they going to let her get away with? This is not right. I've seen, 12-year-old kids go to, juvenile hall and not get away with as much as Gypsy Rose is. There's just something, I don't know, what the parole officer needs to step up and do something. I know she can't be tried again. It's double jeopardy, but I think the truth is actually going to come out. And Dee Dee Blanchard's family, even though she might not have been close with her family, I think she didn't see her family for like 16 years before the murder actually happened. So they weren't close. But I think with everybody talking and Gypsy not being able to stay off of social media, Gypsy wanting, everything out there, Gypsy wants to flaunt everything. She wants to show everything. Christy talking, Mia, her half sister, being fed up. Friends from prison. Friends from prison. I think the true story of what happened is going to come out. But seriously, I really want to know your opinions. What do you guys think of Ryan? I honestly, in the beginning, I was like, what the heck is this guy doing? He sends a letter to somebody in prison. He marries her. What's he in it for? But after seeing Life After Lockup, I really think the guy truly cares about Gypsy. I really do. I think he really does care about her, and I'm sure he's crushed. This guy here, Ken, he's seeing dollar signs. You know, it's crazy. And Gypsy, she just, you know, she has to be around a man. You know, I forgot, I was watching a show the other day. Content creator said something that she was seen in a bar, which is one of her parole conditions that she's not allowed. It was a karaoke bar. And she actually went behind the bar and flashed the bartender. This might have been from Katie Joy. I don't know how true it is. And then when she asked him, do you know who I am? And he said no. She showed him something online, I guess, and the guy took off. Does she have like an addiction to sex? My question, I am not saying that she does. I am not accusing her. It's my question. And so I'm saying, like, I want to know what your questions are. I want to know what you guys want to know, because I'm sure that, you know, some of the people that watch this are going to say, no, you're wrong. You know, poor Gypsy, she really went through a lot. She suffered. She went through surgeries. G-tubes, when you change them, that's not a surgery. I used to help the nurses at the house do it. It's, you know, a stethoscope, a syringe with water, and it's called a bulb, which goes in. They listen for the air. They make sure that there's no air in there. And they take the syringe out after filling it with water, and it's boom, done. We used to do it right there in the house. Yes, having them changed, that, you know, if, let's say, the whole entire thing was to come out, that's a different situation. But just to have it changed, that's not a big deal. And there might be some merit to why she needed that feeding tube. But I'm sure there are some of you that are going to say that's not true. So, you know, I know everybody's going to have their own opinions, and I ask in the comments, you know, that you just respect everybody has different feelings, different thoughts. People are allowed to have their own opinion. But I do want to know everybody's. I just don't want to see anybody going after somebody else in the comments, or coming after me, or going after, you know, Shannon or Sally. They're not making this video. I am. This is my thoughts on it. When we do a live, Sally or Shannon, my sister, they'll be able to speak for themselves. But this is my thoughts on it. And so I just want to get this out there, start what we're probably going to go forward with, maybe, like I said, doing some lives. But in the meantime, who thinks that Gypsy is going to be going back to jail? Who thinks she belongs back in jail? Who thinks that after that phone conversation that you're going to hear in a minute, that she should already be in there for violation of parole? So leave your comments below, guys. Remember, every day's a mystery, and listen to the phone conversation. Here it is.
Time tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully they need, I mean, I don't know. I feel like they should have to need, they should have to need proof. Like, they can't just use a text. I feel like not even text message. They should have been, like, I don't know. Somebody could have got hold of your phone. Like, I don't know, something. Like, because people can use, there's like all kind of crazy phone apps and everything, girl. There's phone apps that can actually send you message that you can, okay, so there's phone apps where you can type in, you can type in like your number. Say somebody can download this app, type in your phone number, and then send a text to someone, and it'll show that it's coming from your phone even though it's not.
Wow.
Yes, that's why I feel like there's no way they can send you back to prison on this. Like, I would even bring up that, but like, I absolutely did never, like, I would be like, I would die. I would say absolutely didn't, and be like, there has to be a way that this text message was like falsified or whatever. I don't know. I would just fight for your life, girl, because there are ways. That's the reason I feel like at the end of the day, like, they would have to prove it, because there are ways for people to do that. There are actual apps, girl, real apps that will show it's your phone number, even though it's not. Oh shit! Let me. Oh, hold on 1 second. Okay, thank God I just started this YouTube blog, because I'm like on the phone with you, I'm like, just lie.